Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's your half-assed reporter, James Kalm. The guy on the bike, but I'm not on my bike today because we're in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And we're gonna run in here to the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum. We're gonna take a little stroll through an exhibition by William Powhida after the contemporary. Stay tuned. Well, I'm gonna bring you in and we'll do a little sweep around the very impressive installation. Now, I've known William probably 17, 18 years by now, and I proudly say that I was one of the first people to ever review his work. And also, as this is the beginning of the 13th year of the Kalm Report, I would say that William Powhida was the first studio I visited as part of my YouTube reports. And, well, this is great. We've got a nice selection of his work, and we'll talk about the original work for this installation. So a lot of these pieces are not titled. They don't have a wall title on them, so I'm just going to kind of wing this. This is a nice timeline piece. The Black Lives Matter 2014. So we've got kind of a cultural timeline on the top part, and an art history timeline underneath. Now, I was always impressed with William's draftsmanship, and particularly his technique that he uses to do his typefaces. This is all hand done, and I think this is paper that's mounted on sheetrock. And well, I saw him about 6 or 8 months ago, and he told me that he was having this exhibition, and we talked about his use of paper and mostly graphite and ink, and you know, his ideas why he didn't just go ahead and make paintings. And he was very adamant about the fact that he loves the kind of the surface that it gets with the graphite. Also, I think there's something about the fragility of the paper that he uses that's appealing for him. Introduction. After the contemporary art 2000 to 2025, it isn't only an exhibition about a time period of cultural production, rather it also explores the premise of going after an understanding of contemporary art as we look back at the first quarter of this century from our perspective today in 2050. Here in the mid-century, you were invited to look past the surface of contemporary art and see what it once was. Stolburn Collection at the Aldrich is pleased to present, after the contemporary, a reflection on the profound social, political, and economic forces that shifted the production of culture from the artist to collectors. Well, that was always the way it was. This historic change was driven by the great restoration of wealth that produced a new class, hereditary, ultra-high net worth collectors, or ultras, who demanded the luxury of art but rejected the burden of supporting artists. Okay. And yeah, here's the good part. I'm going to see Art Fair booth from 2019 alongside a retrospective of the work of contemporary artist William Powhida. The relationship between the artist and his patron, Seth Stolburn, also tells the story of the end of the Moyen Guard, an unsustainable population of academically trained artists who disappeared along with the middle class amid the emergence of the ultra class. Okay, the 2002 debut of Art Basel Miami Beach transformed the art fair from a staid trade show into an exciting, immersive social experience. So they're calling this section of the exhibition Grevsky. The Storebrunn collection at the Aldrich is pleased to offer the public an opportunity to experience the contemporary in its fullest context, the art fair booth. The Grevsky booth from 2019 is a functional reinstallation, and the works are available for sale by contacting blah 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 blah. Well, William is very much interested and critiquing a lot of the contemporary art market, and so we've got what what he's parodying as an art booth at an art fair, but also this is kind of a fun way for him to be able to include works by, now I could be wrong, but I think these are works, a lot of the ceramic pieces are by his lovely wife, Kristen Jensen, and some of these other works are probably by other friends. And in this way, he is kind of able to be a curator, which is not that different from somebody who was an art dealer at an art fair. Well, I'll read a little bit from the catalog. The year is 2050. A great deal has changed since 2017. The flooding of Earth's coastal areas due to the melting of the ice caps, the worldwide rise of oligarchy and plutocracy as the dominant forms of government, a global resurgence of nationalism, the start of resource wars. In 2023, the extinction of the middle class after the great restorations and socio-economic forces that have transformed both visual culture and the funding basis of the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum. Okay, now, and I assume this is the dealer, the gallerina, the person that you would talk to do business with. Creative consultant, independent contractor agreement. Okay, I don't have time to read all this. If you're interested, you can always pause the video and read these parts of this contract. We even got some redacted names here. Actually, I think it's interesting if you've been following William's career at all, to note that a lot of his work initially was involved more with drawings that were paired with a little text, maybe a caption. Can't believe these are digital prints, crumpled up as if they were salvaged from something. And gradually, as he's become more and more involved in, I guess what I would call a institutional critique, he's gradually kind of removed the illustration or the drawings parts, and these are all basically now just text-based, and he spends a lot of time composing these and using the buzzwords and the kind of structure of a lot of contemporary criticism or catalog essays. After the contemporary 20 to 2025. Okay. So I think each one of these panels is probably standard size of a piece of sheetrock. So that's 4 by 8 feet, and it looks like it's graphite and color pencil. Now, was also asking him if he projected these and then just copied the text in from a projection. And he said he didn't. And so, in that way, I would have to say they're even more impressive as pure drawings. Okay, so we've got the world is being flooded by the water from the ice caps, and then there's kind of a cynical reference to maybe the way the world is being flooded with commercial art. Oh, I didn't notice this. Look, we've got a little secret window into the art fair booth. After the contemporary, the end of the contemporary, it is fitting that a collector, Alan Serveus, 1964 to 2040, would identify the effects of gallery expansion and consolidation of successful artists through his Go or Grow lectures, often delivered at art fairs. Okay, so, yeah, not only is the world falling into a dystopic, flooded, tragic situation, but okay, the whole commercial and celebrity art end of things is also pretty dystopic. Creative Time Summit 2022. Okay, now this is frightening. Gagosian Gallery merges with Werner to form Mega Gallery 2024. Okay, so William is already kind of pushing the natural extrapolation of what's been happening in the last 15 years to new heights. Okay. After the contemporary 20 to 25, the contemporary, current and mid-21st century era has seen even more profound changes, blah, 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 blah. Hurricane Hillary. Well, so I'm very impressed with this installation here, and I think William raises a lot of very profound and very interesting questions about what's happening in the contemporary art world and what the future of that is. I saw some little girls that were coming in here and looking at this, wondering what it was, and I explained to them that this is about 25 years of Art Forum magazine. I don't know, does anybody read Art Forum anymore? I don't. So I don't know, I must have about 15 or 20 of these text panels. The great man theory lives on today through Aldrich, who still continue to adopt paternal family names to connote hereditary privilege. Bold example set by Larry Aldrich. Okay, so he's doing a little what they call biting the hand that feeds him. This is titled To-Do List 2014. Okay, now I guess because this is not dated 2020 or something, that we can maybe accept the label. Never can tell. Learning to love formalism. I love squares. Make big ass paintings. Okay. So that was mostly a look at after the contemporary. And here in the back gallery, we've got a little mini retrospective of some of his better known pieces. It's titled Gannick Acquires Powhida 2007 Watercolor and Graphite on Panel, collection of David and Darmela Ganka. Okay. So I'd say this is probably about 30 by 36 inches, something like that. And this was some of the earlier work that he began getting a lot of attention for. And as I said, if you wanted to take the time and read through the text, these are all loaded with parodies, allusions, nasty commentary on people. Now, this might be one of the most famous pieces that he's done. This was How the New Museum Committed Suicide, and this was reproduced on the cover of the Brooklyn Rail. This is dated 2009, and basically what we've got here is a study in the influences that have, well, that brought about an exhibition at the New Museum that was curated by Jeff Koons. Okay, he's got him howdy doody. And it was just from the collection of Dacus Joannou, and so we get to see the curators and who the curators are married to and who the dealers that the curators are married to were working with, and the kind of the whole messy business of how public art institutions are actually used as machines to influence the market. Actually, I remember seeing this piece in a show that William did probably 7 or 8 years ago, and it's like graphite ink watercolor, but William is a very good draftsman, and he does a great job of kind of capturing these portraits. And I don't know, but I would say that there's probably 75, 80, maybe 100 various portraits here. And he's got his favorite rogues gallery that he kind of goes back to. So Jeff Koons is one of them, of course Damien Hirst, and the poor tragic Dash Snow is one of them. Okay, let's zoom in on one of these. Dana Schutz, okay, she's taken a lot of undeserved flack, but USA Today, we just like the shitty middle brow, rag colorful, big picture devoid of complexity, and devised politics much like the bottom, like the boom itself. Zach Foyer Gallery. Okay, what does he have? Charles de Belancourt. Jerry Saltz. The Sweet Roberta. Insert explicative here. The proto-boom dealer par excellence, whose main interest in art is whether or not he thinks he can sell it. That means it can't be too large or too complex for the average rich person. Clearly, it is a superb business model, but it just sucks for culture. Okay. You know, the tragic and sad part of this is that, well, many of these people, artists, dealers, have gone out of business, died, moved on. So I don't know whether it's worth taking the time and energy to focus on, you know, these aspects of certain individuals during particular times. Inga Essenhigh. William does a great job of schematizing concepts of art. A painted, revised guide to oligarchy market. Now I really enjoy this because I'm working on some things that are dealing with similar kinds of ideas of the market, how artists are received, the kinds of social relationships, and the way that it doesn't really matter so much about the work as it does about who is recommending you, who your friends are, what kind of economic class you're from, what kind of school you went to. A subjective classification of things. You know, another reference that you could sort of think about when you're looking at some of this would be the great series by Ad Reinhardt about how to look at an abstract painting. It's a nice piece. White column Xerox prints are produced in signed editions of 50 copies. All right. This piece is titled, A Subjective Taxonomy of Things, 2013 Graphite Watercolor, Colored Pencil, and Transfer on Panel. Some shiny objects. Now this is more like William's signature piece, a trompe-l'oeil page that he then writes his texts on. And okay, so this is referencing this sculpture, and I think I saw, maybe it was his last show, maybe next to last show, where he had several pieces that he jobbed out to other artists, kind of in the way that people like Jeff Koons and Damien Hirst have idea people. They have, you know, the shop foreman and the people that are creating the actual objects, and so you have a whole network of people, and the artist never actually touches anything. Okay, here are more of the schematic drawings. And William is very much into the kind of neo-Marxist Frankfurt School version of art and economy. So we've got an economic contextualization for artist payments. And I just referenced the Ad Reinhardt series, and this is about as blatant a reference as you can have. How to look at the contemporary art industrial complex in America. Okay, so Giacometti, Rauschenberg, Twombly. You know, another impressive thing about this is that William is doing all this with his pencil on paper, and Reinhardt actually did a lot of this with paste-ups. So in a certain way you could say that Bill is doing an even better job. Well, this is a large piece, and this is actually on canvas. So I've got a little post-it notes, values, goals, audiences' names. And I like it when he actually starts to approach painting, you know, using color, paint crayons, watercolor, things like that. Now we're going to finish up looking at these two pieces. Like I said, William is a very tricky guy, so I think he might have had commissioned someone to make these paintings for one of his shows of work by him that was actually created by other artists. So that might be a quote-unquote self-portrait. This is Bill the Clown. Fucked clowns. I guess, yeah, the creepy clown thing is going on these days. And so we've got a little pygmy pony with a dunce cap on. I guess this would represent some kind of slacker neo-expressionism that's kind of was fashionable a couple of years ago. This has been James Kalm, coming to you from the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum. And we've just taken a walk through of William Powhida's After the Contemporary. Congratulations, William. And you can leave your criticisms, comments, whatever below. And welcome back for the 13th year of the Kalm Report and over 1,100 programs posted. Thank you, Kate. Whoa, thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Scupper from the Apple, in honor of Charlie Parker. It's National Charlie Parker Day, I believe.
Really? Thank you.